In Search of Chametz. It was just a few hours before Pesach in the town of Berdichev in Russia. The Berdichever Rebbe, Reb Levi Yitzchak, called together a few of his Hasidim. "I would like you to find me some cigarettes that are made in Turkey," he told them. The Hasidim were surprised when they heard this request. "The Rebbe surely knows that our country is in the middle of fighting a war against Turkey," said the men. "The Tsar, who rules this country, does not allow anyone to bring in anything from Turkey. How will we be able to fulfill your wish? Surely no one in this town has Turkish cigarettes." "Do your best," replied Reb Levi Yitzchak. "See what you can find." The Hasidim left the Rebbe's house worried. They knocked on the front door of a Jewish home. "Do you have any Turkish cigarettes?" whispered the Hasidim. "Why would I have Turkish cigarettes?" asked the man who answered the door. "I could get arrested by the police for having them." The Hasidim explained quietly. "We need some for the Berdichever Rebbe. Are you sure you don't have any?" "Oh, come in," the man said, closing the door behind them. "You need them for the Rebbe?" he asked. "That's a different story. I think I have a few hidden in my basement. Wait here and I'll bring some right back." A few minutes later, to the Hasidim's great joy, the man came back holding some carefully wrapped Turkish cigarettes. "Take these to the Berdichever Rebbe," he said. "I'm happy to help him whenever I can." When the Hasidim returned to the Rebbe, he was glad to see they had found cigarettes. "I have another favor to ask of you. Please go and find me some fine silk that comes from Austria." Once again, the Hasidim were surprised. They knew that it was against the law to own anything from Austria, since Russia was also fighting a war with that country. But this time, they didn't ask any questions. The Hasidim left the Rebbe's house and were knocking on doors as they began their search. "Do you have any Austrian silk?" they asked when a man opened his front door. "Oh, why would I have any?" asked the man, surprised. "I could go to jail for owning that." "But we need it for the Rebbe," they begged. "Oh, why didn't you say so?" asked the man. "I'll go check then." A few moments later, the man came back to the Hasidim with a small roll of fabric. "Don't tell anyone," he whispered. "This is the finest Austrian silk available. Hide it under your coat." When the Hasidim returned to the Rebbe, he was happy to see that they had fulfilled his request. "I have one more favor to ask you," he said. "Please bring me some chametz from a Jewish house." The Hasidim were shocked because the time for burning chametz had already passed. They knocked on the door of one house after another. "We don't have any chametz in our house," they heard over and over again. One man was upset. "Don't you know that it's almost Pesach and it's osur to have chametz at this time?" he asked, surprised. The Hasidim told him that the Rebbe had asked for the chametz. "I'm sure the Rebbe has a good reason," the man said, "but I certainly don't have any chametz in my house, and I don't think you'll find anyone else who has any either." After a long while, the Hasidim went back to the Rebbe's house. When they arrived, the Rebbe greeted them at the door and asked, "Nu, did you find any chametz?" "We went to every Jewish house," answered the Hasidim. They wanted the Rebbe to know how hard they had tried, but we couldn't find any chametz in the entire town. "Ah, I'm so happy to hear that," exclaimed the smiling Rebbe to his surprised Hasidim. The Rebbe stepped outside, looked up to the sky, and called out, "Rabbeinu Shel Olam, look down from Shemayim and see how special your people are. The Russian Tsar has policemen and soldiers ready to punish anyone who does not obey his laws. Yet there are many people who disobey him. You, Hashem, have no policemen or soldiers to make sure your laws are followed. Your people obey you. They do your will because of their great love for you. This is why no chametz at all can be found in any Jewish homes in this town." We see from the story the greatness of the Jewish people. We are careful to follow the mitzvahs of Hashem, not because there is anyone forcing us, but because we love Hashem and we want to make him happy.